What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my first MLB The Show video. We're going to go over some gameplay settings here to get you right into ranked and going strong. So let's take a look. The first section here under general, a lot of this personal preference for offline play, not super important. But under general, when you tab over to decisions, I do want to call out here, most of these should be turned off to allow you to have complete control over your ball players. The only two things that I leave on are the auto infield jump and dive. And this really just allows your infielders to dive quickly on those quick bang bang plays where maybe you don't have a quick trigger finger to make that happen. So other than that, I turn those off, and then allows you to manage your sliding, your base running, your relievers, so forth and so on. Over in control, this is where it's a little bit more important here. Base running, I like to have analog select, and that simply just allows you to select your base runner with the left stick, and then you can control the base you want to go to with A, B, X, or Y if you're on Xbox, or square, circle, triangle, or square on PlayStation. That's to control single base runners. Of course, you can always control all your base runners with your two bumpers. In competitive play, your hitting interface really needs to be zone so that you have the most control over your hitting and your batters. Down here under PCI, the PCI setup is really, in my opinion, personal preference. I personally like to have a diamond centered. I use the basic PCI enter. I go back and forth between the basic and the bat, but really, again, personal preference. Color again, personal preference. I prefer yellow with a light transparency so that the ball doesn't disappear behind the PCI. But again, personal preference on the PCI setups. Pitching interface, again, a little more important. I think, in my opinion, for competitive play, you really want to focus in on pinpoint. If you're not great at pinpoint, I would recommend practicing to nail that down. If you're a newer player, let me know if you'd like to see a tutorial behind that, and we're happy to show you how that would work. I used pitch trail, button accuracy for throwing to get the most power and accuracy from your fielders when they're throwing, and then I used two button for dive and jump, so that you have a separate button for dive and a separate button for jump to make those decisions in the field. Camera, and this is probably most important in my opinion. Strike zone should be your hitting view. Some competitive players I've seen use strike zone high, but strike zone really puts you up as close to the plate as possible so that you can see the ball out of the pitcher's hand, and then also get a read on the type of pitch coming out of the pitcher's hand as well. So again, strike zone or strike zone high is really where you want to be. For pitching view, I think this is probably more personal preference, but I like to use strike zone here as well, just so that I'm seeing the ball from the same direction coming out of the pitcher's hand, both on offense and defense. It just gets me some more reps behind the catcher, or from behind the plate for that matter. Outside of that, a lot of these settings are personal preference. The other one I want to call attention to is CPU pitch delay. I do change that to faster so that when you are playing your Conquest games or against CPU games, the cutscenes between pitches and between innings goes much quicker and allows you to skip those. So I recommend faster to speed up those that lag between games or between pitches. But there you have it. Those are my preferred settings for MLB The Show 24. Again, somewhat competitive player, range between 7 and 800 on a consistent basis. So not necessarily World Series type, but these are the competitive settings that I run when I go through rank. Let me know in the comments if there's anything I missed or if there's any other settings that you prefer that you run. Thanks again. Until next time.